Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Nikhil Kumar. In this video, I will show you how to deploy DeepSeek on a VM using Ollama and OpenWebUI. By the end of this video, you will have a fully functional AI chatbot running locally. Before we dive into the setup, let's talk about DeepSeek. It's an advanced open source lightweight model similar to ChatGPT, but optimized for reasoning and coding tasks. It's gaining popularity because it provides local AI capabilities without relying on cloud APIs. Now let's see how we can deploy it ourselves. Before we proceed further, let's quickly talk about Ollama. Ollama is a lightweight framework designed to run large language model efficiently on local machine. Here's why it's useful. Easy model management. Ollama simplifies downloading, running and switching between AI models with a single command. Local processings. Run LLMs without relying on external APIs, ensuring privacy and security. Optimize performance. Built to efficiently utilize system resources for smooth inference. Supports multiple models. Works with various AI models including DeepSeek, Llama and Mistral. With Ollama, you can run DeepSeek efficiently, making it a great choice for deploying AI chatbots locally or on cloud instances like GCP or AWS. So let's get started. So here I have already deployed one instance on a GCP and I'm going to deploy Ollama and OpenWebUI on the same instance. So first of all, we need to install Ollama. So this command will install the Ollama. Now Ollama got installed and it created a service at the backend, and if we see here, it also verifies if the system is having a GPU or not. And right now I am not having GPUs in this particular instance, so it's going with the CPU only mode. Now Ollama got installed, so to verify that, we have a command that is Ollama, and it will give a help options for that. And if we see, we have a service running for Ollama. This is the one. Now, if we want to deploy the DeepSeek using Ollama, we can go to the Ollama website and search for DeepSeek R1. And here we have a different types of model, 1.5 billion, 7 billions, and the 671 billions. So we can go with the smaller one, that is a 1.5 billion, that is of 1.1 gigs. And using that, we can run the DeepSeek model using Ollama on our instance. So let me clear out the screen. As soon as I run this command, it will download the model weights. Now our model is running and we have a prompt here. So we can write something here like write a Ansible playbook to deploy Nginx. So it will give a Ansible playbook to deploy a Nginx server. As you can see, it drafted the playbook as well. Now we get a complete response from the DeepSeek model, which is running locally on our VM. So to see the help of this, we can run this command and it will give us different options for the DeepSeek model. And to come out of it, we can use /by and it will exit from the prompt. Now that DeepSeek is running, so let's deploy OpenWebUI to interact with it through a web interface. If you want a web-based experience similar to the ChatGPT, we have multiple options for that: OpenWebUI, ChatUI, or LM Studio. So for this particular demo, I am going with the OpenWebUI. So I am going to deploy OpenWebUI on this particular VM using the Docker Compose, and internally it will be using the Ollama to do the inferencing of the DeepSeek model. So for that, let me install the Docker Compose first. apt get update. Let me first update the apt and let's install the Docker Compose as well. Now the Docker Compose got installed successfully. Let me stop the service of the Ollama which is running on the VM, because we are going to run our Ollama service on the top of Docker Compose along with the OpenWebUI. So let me stop the service. So right now it's active. So let's stop this. Now the service got stopped. So let's clone the repository of the OpenWebUI. And let's get into the OpenWebUI folder. Inside this we have a couple of files, and one of the useful file for us is dockercompose.yml. So let's modify some of the parameters here so that we can like use the web UI, and it will like uses the Ollama at the backend. So to expose this application, we need to update this to do the public IP address so that we can access it using the public IP address of the GCP instance. So here we need to add 0000 and add port number 80, and internally it will be using the port 8080. And here let's modify this environment variable so that it can use a base URL for the Ollama, and this is not required. And in the base URL here, as well in the arguments, we need to update the base URL to the one which we have provided in the environment one. So this is the one. Now our docker compose.yml file is ready. So let's start the OpenWebUI using the Docker Compose. For that we have a command called docker-compose up-d. So first it will pull all the required images like Ollama and the OpenWebUI, and then it will start the Docker container for both of them. So it will take a couple of minutes here because it will try to pull the image and then it will deploy the application on the same. Here we got an error because one of the package is missing, that is buildx. So to do that, let me quickly install that. So this is the buildx version we are required to install it, and let's create the directory, that is docker and CLI plugins, and let me install the buildx version which is required for this one, and let me change the permission to the executable for that, and let's down the Docker Compose and start it again. So here it will perform a different set of operations to deploy that application on the top of Docker Compose. So first it will deploy the Ollama, and then it will deploy the OpenWebUI, and it will be exposed using the port number which we have specified on the public IP address, that is port 80. Now if you see, the Ollama and OpenWebUI both are running, and to verify that we can run the command, that is docker ps, and we can see both the containers are running, and this particular container, that is WebUI container, is exposing or doing the port forwarding to the port number 80 on this particular public IP address. And to connect with that, we can use the public IP of the VM, and to access the OpenWebUI portal, we can use the public IP of the VM, and we can connect with it. Now we can see the OpenWebUI portal is coming up, which is running on the top of Docker Compose. So let's get started. It will ask to set up an admin account for this. So let me create an admin account, and let me set a password as well. Now we can see that OpenWebUI got deployed, and right now we are not able to see any of the model on the top of this because Ollama is running, but it's not having any of the model hosted on the same. So if we need to verify that, we can run the docker exec-it and the container ID of the Ollama container and run bash, and we can see here that none of the model is running in this. So Ollama list, we can see there is no model hosted on this particular container. So to do that, we can go to the web UI, we can go to the settings, and here we can go to the admin settings and click on connections. We have two options here. One is OpenAI API and another is Ollama API, which we have deployed using the Docker Compose. So let me disable the OpenAI one. And here we need to add a model for the same. So for that we can click here to manage, and here we can give the DeepSeek model name. Here we are going with the 1.5 billion parameters, so we can click here to download it. So it will take a couple of minutes to download the model, and the model got downloaded. And let's go back to the container, and if we run the same command again, we can see that the DeepSeek 1.5 billion parameter model got downloaded, and it's of size of 1.1 gigs. And if we see is there any process is running or the model process is running, we can see right now there is no process running for the same. And if we come back to the OpenWebUI portal and click on the workspace, and here on the models, we can see now we are getting an option of DeepSeek here. So let's click this. So and let's ask some question, right? What is Ollama? Now it will get a response from the DeepSeek model, which is running locally on our GCP instance. And we can see we have got a response very quickly. Now we have our AI chatbot fully functional on OpenWebUI, which is hosted on our local system. And if we come here again and to see the process for the same, if we run the same command, we can see one process is running, that is DeepSeek one, which is a 1.5 billion parameter, and it's running from last 4 minutes, and it's active. And another thing is that, like, if we want to deploy the model without using an Linux box, there is another alternative way. We have a one tool available, that is LM Studio. So if we search on the Google, that is LM Studio, and here we can install it. So we can install it on the Mac, Windows or Linux. So I'm going to install with the Windows only. So it will install it. I have already installed LM Studio on my Windows machine, and here is the UI for the same. If we want to select some model on this, so we can click here and we can click on the model or search for the model from here, and it will give a list of the models. So this is the model which is already there, and we can download it, and if we click on the load model, it will load the model and it will give a ChatGPT kind of a UI to us. And if we want to search any question from this, right, what is OpenWebUI and Ollama, it will give us a response from the local model which is running on this particular Windows machine, and it is being utilized by the LM Studio. Using both the approach, that is OpenWebUI or our LM Studio, we don't need to worry about our data because all the models are running locally on our system. And that's it. We have successfully deployed the DeepSeek model on GCP VM using Ollama and WebUI. Now you have your own AI chatbot running locally. If you found this useful, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment if you have any questions. See you in the next video.